In my whole life, most of the Chinese people, the 1.4 billion people, 99% of them is atheist. They don't believe the God because of the. In China, the government they have the policies. They do not want the religions to grow bigger like the Muslim. In China, we have over 20 million Muslim people live in that. But the child of the Muslim people, they become the Muslim. If you don't believe the God before, you cannot believe God.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot do the
Do you know why this is happening? Because we believe in a freedom of life. What is the freedom of life? Freedom of life means someone has to have the freedom to follow his religion. So in certain parts of the world, it's very difficult to practice a religion or preach about a religion. For example, in UK, I have the ability to share the message of Islam to you, and vice versa. I can learn from you your faith, and we can have a reasonable discussion.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
in
You're
a
right.
very
You're
nice
right. You're
in
right.
a very nice environment, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But in other countries where you from, as you
I
mentioned
come from
correctly, yeah,
China.
yeah,
Yeah,
as you mentioned correctly, that Muslim actually come from a Muslim family. So that
yeah.
means the message of Islam has been limited or restricted for people to preach. And if you restrict something, that means you do not have the freedom of expression. And when you do not have a freedom of expression, you
Yeah.
will not be educated.
From my perspective,
Yeah.
I do not challenge your belief, but you believe God. There's sometimes, in China, we have the traditional religions like Tao, like we believe the Monty God. It's not one God. We believe the God, the sky God, moon God, sun God, all kind of the gods, the
Sure.
tree God, land God. But this is originally maybe the millions of thousands of years the people believe that when the most of Chinese people when they get trouble they will go to temple to pray. They pay 10 pounds. They ask them for the thousand pounds return. So that is a problem for the people. So when they get trouble, they will go to the temple, they will go to the church, they pray for some things. But most of the time, in the normal time, they don't go to the temple, they don't go to the church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
that shows, look, as you have mentioned, when people face difficulties, right? When
yeah.
people face difficulties in their life, they know that there is someone above there who will gonna help him out.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
in Quran, we have mentioned, in Quran, our holy book,
Yeah.
mentioned the God mentioned that when someone in the middle of the sea, in a boat, and when he realized the boat is about to go down, then they call up to the God.
Yeah.
And then when God, through God mercy, when God safely evacuated those, safely bring them from the sea to the shore, what happened? They forgot God. Look, this is a nature of human being. They are naturally, human beings sometimes are ungrateful. So it is essential that we should be showing a consistent formula, meaning when God has helped you, you should remember God always. You can't just uh, reject or divorce God, right? This is
Yeah.
what happened. Now, if people behave this way, whenever I'm in need, I will call up to God. When I'm not in need, I don't need to call God, right?
You know,
So,
well, I was born in Muslim cities.
yeah.
In my hometowns, we have the 1.4 million Muslim people live in my cities. All the restaurants, most of the food industry was operated by Muslim, and a lot of my friends and classmates when I was a child, they are Muslims. So we are very good relationship with the Muslim
That's
people.
very good to hear.
Yeah. So so that's why those people never talk about the religions, never talk about the Muslim or Islam in school, in public areas, because that is the government policies.
Yes, government
You
policy.
know, they forbidden every Muslim, Christian, even the Orthodox, any religions to spread their ideas in
you know why
the
they're
whole
doing
countries.
it? Do you know why they're doing it?
Because they think that communism is a replacement. The communism is a religion. Communism become the replacement of your belief. They
Not only that,
they ask the people to believe communists like they believe the God. They think it's not the God that saved them, it's the communism that saved them. This is the government. The government use this kind of the authority, use kind of the powers to control the people's thinking. If the people they follow the God, follow the it's not God, it's the father, or you said a home, or some of the fathers in Muslim, they will follow the religion's rules.
I tell you,
They do not. Follow the government's thinking. You know, in my hometowns in 1980s, 1990s, every year they send troops, army, to suppress the rebellion in my hometowns. The rebellion coming from the Muslim. Every year, every 2 or 3 years, they killing thousands of the peoples. Those peoples was concentrated. They was only limited in the small areas. They cannot live far away from that the community. That's they call them Muslim communities.
Yeah.
And they only yes. Sometimes the discrimination was they only focus on the industry, the food industry, restaurant, and education. They do not want the peoples to go to the public school. Most only the truth people can go to the public school. They get the higher education, like go to university. But most of especially for the female, the girls stay home almost the whole life, and they get married 16 years, 17 years,
Yeah.
and they don't even they cannot read the book.
Yeah, let me address few of the points you mentioned. And you mentioned that the idea of secularism has been promoted. The communist, what's that called? Communist, which is a godless society basically. So people can formulate their own laws, and then they will enforce those laws into human being. Now, what we have done is, if you enforce your own law to govern some people, that means you're gonna use this law to in your own advantage, not the people's advantage. But God's law is not for the lords, the one who will govern, but for the people. So that's why when the communism or any other ideas preached about God's message, or they replace with a message, look, any country or anywhere in the world, we need governance, we need police, we need government, we need infrastructure, we need so many things to run a country. So either you will follow God's command, or you will have to formulate in your own guidance. Now let's look at it. Let's look at own guidance. If you look at the financial world in this, why the whole world is suffering now? Because of the unfair system, financial system in place, where the richer community has built a system, a banking system, which actually taken from poor and making poor more poorer and rich more richer. And this is the idea, and that's how the top tier can dominate, or they can control the smaller groups. So this is kind of enslavement in a financial way. So slavery or enslavement is not just physical. We see controlling in a way that people have restriction and limitation. For example, if you look at the banks, all over the world, not in China, all over the world, this banking system is such a way derived.
The banking
Let me
system,
finish.
banking system was in charge of by the Israel.
Look, each country,
it's different.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah. No, I'm
And
saying
the banking system is take control of the financial power of the global.
so. Look, financial power is the mighty power. That's how you control the world, right? This is where the money is, where the power is, right? We know that. So if we look at this idea of governing people through this financial system, now why people are scared of Islam? Do you know why people are scared of Islam? Because Islam will take you out of this financial slavery that placed by the government, because Islam tells us that everyone is born free, so you should not take someone's financial independence. So
So
in a protection of wealth,
yes. Let's